To do a line, you know,
a line
yeah, if you were to say,
You know,
what's blood if not for shedding, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I got disconnect portions of my brain, so I mean, I'm flattered on one level because 20 years later, even without the convention context, like I do my shopping, my grocery shopping after midnight, even though I live in LA and people are really jaded in LA because you see everybody everywhere.
Yeah.
But there's not a day goes by where, 6 or 10 people come up and give tribute to this movie in one way or the other. But I don't take it seriously because I'm about the body of the work right now. I'm really about the body of the work, and I'm honored, but I refuse to be pigeonholed.
Well, if you look at your resume, it is expansive. If you go on IMDb, there's so many projects there. Is there something? I know that you've talked a great deal in the past about making biographical films, playing. There was a Lester Young. I
had the Lester options, the Lester Young story for 3 years. 3 years. Lester Young was a jazz saxophonist who played behind Billie Holiday, and they had this symbiotic relationship. He named her Lady Day, and she named him Prez. And we shopped it, and the studios basically said there's no hope for jazz. There's no market for jazz.
What about Ray?
They didn't consider that jazz. That was more entertainment. I mean, it was a good film, but it was entertainment. So I wanted, and I still do, I want to produce, I'm starting to produce more. And I want to do the Sam Cooke story, I want to do the Marvin Gaye story, I want to do, like, all these tragic, the 60s is a motherfucker, man, in terms of great musicians who are no longer with us.
The last 3 or 4 years of the 60s, from 67 to 70?
It's, Sam Cooke goes out on the top of his glory, arguably one of the best voices ever, and dies in a whorehouse. And, so there's something that I'm into the tragic beauty of life, if you will.
And what is it about that brings you on? I mean, there are great story elements in that if you look at it as a story rather than a biographical story. But what is it for you that really draws you in about that?
I just love people. I had a great training program. I got a master's in theater and stuff, and one of our professors quoted this term called God-conscious art, which basically means that anything you do, it has to be endowed with dignity and grace and fullness of life. And she was a woman, her name was Barbara Ann Terre, and she used to talk about great musicians at their peak. Elvis Presley, Ray Charles, Smokey Robinson, Ella Fitzgerald, when they're like on, when it's Frank Sinatra, when it's like undeniable, and always attending for that instead of mediocrity, right? So I'm inspired. I used to be a DJ in college, and I'm inspired by music in the midnight that makes you move.
We'll turn it back to you guys.